Last video we looked how to build a profile page of our Agric plant app, and in this video we'll be continuing the orders page, right? So in the past video we looked at the order tab, and then in this video we'll be building the order item you see over here. Right now, back to the actual app we are working on, so which is this one. We just have the tabs like this, and for now there is nothing showing when we navigate with the tabs. So let's first work on that. Before we work on that, I want us to make some few changes. Instead of having the tabs as a list of string, I want them to be enums, which we'll be using to represent the order status. So in our lib directory, let's create a new directory called utils, and in that directory we create another directory called enums, right? And within this enums we are going to create the order enum, right? So we're going to create an enum that is going to be called order status, and it's going to have all these statuses. So we have the processing, the picking, shipping, and then delivered. Right, so these are going to be the statuses for our order. Back in the tabs where we have the tabs, instead of having an array or a list like this, we are rather going to use the values of this order status. So order status dot values, we are going to map through the values, and then for each order status, right, we are going to get a name. So getting the name will return as the string form of this enum, right? So now we are not going to have any error in our code, and we are going to see the orders still the same. The only problem is we have them in lowercase, which we will fix later on. So that's going to be it. And now in the body of our app, so just outside the app bar in the scaffold, we're going to have the body, and then the body is going to be a tab bar view, right? So instead of having just one list view, since we have different tabs and each tab would represent a different page, we're going to use a special widget called tab bar view. And this tab bar view needs to have some children, right? Now the children of this tab bar view must be the same as the number of tabs we have. So basically each child will represent one page for a tab. So instead of just having manually putting in the pages like let's say processing page, picking page, we are going to loop through the tabs we have, and then for each of them we are going to return a page. So let's do list.generate again, and then the length is going to be our tabs.length, and for each of them we want to return a page. Now these pages are going to be similar, right? So we are going to return a list view for each of the pages. So this basically means that for each tab we are having a list view returned. Now we don't want just a list view, we rather want something like a list view builder, right? Because we are going to have a list of orders for each page. So instead of returning just a normal list view over here, I'm going to have a list view dot separated, and the reason why I'm going for the separated version is because I'll be separating the list of orders, right? So the order items, I don't want them to be together. So the item builder is what is going to return as an order item, and for now we are going to replace it with a sizer box because we don't have any order item for now. And then the separator builder is going to be a sizer box with a height of 10. So that's what it's going to use to separate each budget within this list view builder, right? And then the item count will be the list of orders we have for a particular tab. For now I'm going to put 2 there, and nothing will change because we don't have anything in our sizer box. Let's go ahead and define what an order is. So we are going to create a new file in our models called order, and then that is going to define what an order is. So an order is going to be a class that will have properties. The first property we have is the ID, because every order must be unique. we're also going to have the list of products within this order, and that is going to be a product model. So product, we are going to have the ordering date, and that is going to be a date time. We are going to have the delivery date, date time again, delivery date. We are going to have the status. So the status will be from our order status, and that is going to be the status, right? So this will be the information we need for our UI. And I'm going to generate a constructor for this class like this, and this is what an order would look like. So back in our directory, under the data, we are going to create some dummy orders. So let's first create our orders file, and this is going to be a list of orders called orders, and we should have a list of orders here. So for the ID, you can come up with some random ID. For the first product, I'm going to take the list of products we have, and then I'm going to reverse them, right? So products, reverse, take 3 out of them, and then convert it back to a list, because reverse is not going to return as a list. Now we are going to fill out the missing details. So the ordering date is going to be a date time, and I'm going to use UTC. So 2022-11, right? It doesn't really matter. The delivery date is going to be, let's say, the second month, and then the status is going to be order status dot delivered. So we are going to have multiple of these, and I'm going to duplicate them very quickly. So we have the list of orders ready, and this is what we'll be using in our UI. So back to where we have the orders, right? So we are going to filter the orders data we have, and then pass the order to each tab bar view, right? So where we are returning the list view that's separated for each page, we have to filter out the orders. So I'm going to create a variable called filtered orders, and then that is going to be our orders, and make sure I have orders dot where order status is equal to, right? So it's equal to our order status dot values index. Now what dot values is going to return a list of order statuses, right? And then we are looking for the one that the index is the same as that one. So more like what we did over here. Dot values return us a list, and then we look at the index, right? And then we do the comparison, and this is going to give us the filtered orders. After we've done, we have to convert this back to a list, so we can have a list of order, right? So we are going to loop over the filtered orders for each page. So for each page, the number of items we are going to loop through in the list view will be this number of filtered orders. That's the orders that belong to that particular tab, right? So when we save, we still don't see anything over here, and the reason is we are using just a sizer box here. So to just show the number of items we have, we can just create a variable called order, and that is going to be the filtered orders, and then accessing the particular order we are looping through, and then we can return a child with a text. So return text, and maybe order dot status, right, dot name. So we have 3 processing orders, we have 1 picking order, we have 1 shipping, and then 1 delivered, right? So these are going to be the number of orders we have as an according to name. Now instead of just returning a text over here, we're going to return an order item. So back in our widget, we're going to create a new file called order item dot, and this is going to be a stateless widget, order item. This order item widget is expecting an order to be passed in. Right, so we are going to require this order like this, and now in the order page we are going to return order item and then pass in this order. Right, so that is going to be it for the orders page, and I would have to go and work on the order item. So realize that we have 3 orders over here. In packing we have just 1 order, in shipping we have 1, and delivered we have 1. So back in the order item, instead of returning a placeholder, we are going to return a card. Right, so let's return a card here. When we see, we're not going to see anything here, right? And just like all our cards, I'm going to copy in the properties, and as this time, this is the perfect time to theme our card at the global level, so at the material level, so that all our cards have this specific theme, right? And we'll be looking at that in a different video. So when I apply this, you're not going to see anything because we don't have anything in our card. Let's first have a text in our card. So this text is going to be in a column with some children, and then the child is going to be in a row, but first let's put the text there, and then that's going to be the order ID. Right, so realize that we have 3 orders over here, right? And one thing I realized is each order item is touching the edge of the screen. So back to the orders page, we can apply some padding to the list view. So I'm going to apply a padding of 16 all around, right? Then we can have some space over here. So back to the order item, this order ID will be in a row, right? So we want to have the order ID as well as the number of items, which is the number of products in this order, to the right. So let's wrap the text in a row, and then we are going to have the order ID. So let's start the order ID a bit. So I'm going to apply some styles. It's going to come from my theme, but then I'm going to create a variable here because I'm using my theme a lot. So theme.ofContext like this, and then we can access it just like this, theme.text theme, and then title small. So text theme, I'm looking for title small, and then I want to copy everything and then apply a font weight of bold. Right, good. Now outside of the text, outside of this, we need the number of products and then the total price. So I'm going to put a number of products here, and that is going to be the order product length, right? So our order product dot length, and then we are going to put items here. So that's going to show the number of items or products we have in this order, and we want to have a space between this ID and then the number of items. So instead of using the main axis alignment, in this case I'm going to use the spacer widget, and the reason is I want to have other widgets as well after this item, the number of items. So the next widget is going to be the total price for this order, and we have to style this. So let's apply some styles, and the style we are going to apply is going to be a body small text style, right? So something very small, and it has to be in brackets before I forget. So just after this, we need to have the total price for this whole order. We are going to calculate the total price at the top here, so where we have our theme. So I'm going to create a variable called total price, and that is going to be our order, the product, and then dot fold. We are starting with 0.0, so this fold will just accumulate all the price. So we are accumulating all the prices, right? And then that is going to be the total price variable. So we can have another text, and then that text will have the total price. But I realize that the total price is not the same, so we have some ending with just 1 decimal place, and then some to 2 decimal place. So in order to fix that, we can wrap this in a square bracket and then use the to string as fixed, and then pass in 2 here like this. So that will make sure that we always have 2 decimal places after the value, right? So that will be the total price. Now let's have some space between the items and then the price. So here we can have a sizer box with a width of 5. So that's going to give us some space. And now we need space within the card itself. So in the card, let's wrap the column with a padding widget, and then give it a padding all around of 10. Right, so that's going to give us some space here. Right, so after that, we're going to have the list of products, right? So if you look at the finished version, realize that after the order ID and then the price, what we have is the list of products, right? So back to what we are working on, just after this, then we need to have the order ID as order. So something like this. After this, we need to have the list of products. So just after this row, we're going to have some sizer box for spacing, and then we are going to have all the products in this order. So let's first loop through the product. Instead of just returning order.product like this, we are going to loop through using list.generate, and the length is going to be our order.product.length. When we use order.product.length, that is going to loop through all the products we have in our order, but we want to show a maximum of 2 products for each order card, right, or order item. Instead of slicing the products here, I'm going to create a new variable called product, and that is going to be our order.product, and then I'm going to take just 2, so the first 2, and then convert it back to a list. So we can then use this product dot length instead of the product that comes from our order, and then I'm going to return an order product, and we don't have that widget created yet, so let's create that. So in our widget, we are going to add a new widget called order product, and this will accept an order as well as the product itself, right? And the reason why we need the whole order passed in as well as the product is we are going to pass the whole product to a different page from this order product, right? So it will make sense to do it this way. So from here, we are going to add our order product, and this requires us to pass in the product, which is going to be our product index, and then the order is just going to be the order we had. Now we still have an error because this list.generate is going to return as a list, and we can't pass a list to this children, so we have to spread out whatever this returns, and then we see we are going to have this because we are using a placeholder within the order product. So in the order product, we are first going to have a row, with some children. And then the first child of this will be our product image, right? And as we've done previously, we always use a container and then pass in the image of the product. So I'm going to copy in a container like this, which has a height and a width, and then we have some decoration, and the decoration image takes in the product image. So this is what we have, and that's the same thing we did for our cat, right? So we did the same thing we've been doing from the beginning of this series. So after that, the next thing we are going to have is a column to hold the product name and then description, right? So just after this, we are going to have a column with some children, and then the first child will be the product dot name. When we save, we are going to have this. So let's first align everything to the start, and also let's align everything to the start in the row. So cross axis alignment, right? And that's going to fix our title for us. So within this column, let's style our text, and the style is going to be our title medium style, text style. And we don't have our theme here, so I'm going to create a new variable called theme. That's going to be theme.ofContext, right? So this will give us a style like this, right, with a product name, and then we need a product description as well. So the product description is just going to be a text, and we soon realize that the description is overflowing the container. So in order to fix that, we wrap the column in a widget called expanded. So that will make sure that whatever space is left after the card image is being laid out, that whole space is given to the column. Right, so now the column can align its children properly. So after a description, we need to show the price of this product and then the quantity in a row, right? So box here with a height of 10, and then we can have our row here. So our row will contain the price. So first the price, which we will first put a $sign here, and then the product price. So product dot price. Right, so this is going to give us the price of the product, and let's apply some styles to the product price. So we are first going to change the color. So style, text style, and then the color is going to be our primary color. And let's make the font weight bold. So this is what we will have, and then just after the text we will have the quantity, right? So we don't have the quantity as a field on the product, right, or the order itself. So in a real sense, this product model for the other product should have been the cart item, or what the person ordered, right? So that would have given us the actual quantity on it. That would have been a field on the quantity. But since we are using the product, which is the same model as the one we had on our UI, it's not going to have the quantity on it. So we would have to refactor our product model. But before that, we are going to put a text here that is going to be a random quantity, right? So we're going to have a text and then quantity, and we are going to use the random method from math library. So random.nextInt, and then the maximum we want to have is 4, and let's add 1 to it. So in case this random returns 0, we can still add 1 to it so that we don't have 0 quantity for a product. So when we save this, what we are going to have, we are seeing random numbers over here, let's apply some spacing, so main axis alignment and then space between, and this is what we'll have at the end of the day. Right, now that will be all for the order product. So back to the order item. Just after the order product, we want to have a button to view all products if the order contain more than one product. Right, so if you have 2 or 3 products in an order, we are showing just 2, but I want to have a button that says view all. So back to order item. Just after this list.generate, we can have a sizer box and then a height of 20. Then we can have our button here. What we want to do is we want to only show, so a sizer box should be 10. So what we want to do is we want to only show this view all button if we have more than one product. So from 2, 3, 4, that's when we want to show the view all button. So first, if our order.product.length is greater than 1, then we want to show a text button with an icon. So text button.icon, and then the label will be a text that says view all. Our icon will be from our iconly package, so iconly light, and I'm looking for arrow right. And I'm looking for iconly bold, not iconly light, so sorry, iconly bold like this. Right, so realize that we have the 10 pixel sizer box. The product length is not even greater than 1, so we want to also put this in an if statement. So if the product if order the product dot length is greater than 1, that's only when we want to have this sizer box. So that will fix the spacing over here. And now we have this button. So what we want to do is when we press on this view all button, we want to show a bottom sheet that will display all the products. So in the on press, we can call this method show modal bottom sheet, and then the builder will return the UI for the bottom sheet. So we want to return a container for the bottom sheet like this. And now when we press, we're not going to see anything, we're just going to see this bottom sheet, right, because there's nothing in the container. Now I want to give a fixed height to this bottom sheet, right? So in the container, I'm going to apply a height of 50% of the screen's height. So we can get the screen's height from the media query dot of context dot size, and then we can get a height. So there's the whole screen height, and then we can get 50% of it by multiplying it by 0.5, right? So view all will give us 50% of the screen size. So in this bottom sheet, I want to show the drag handle. So when I enable show drag handle, which is a property in the bottom sheet, realize that we now have this drag handle, right, that we can use to close the bottom sheet if someone wants to close it, right? So it's just a property called show drag handle. Also, this bottom sheet is going to be scrollable, so it's scroll controlled, right, because we have a list of products within it. We are not very sure if all the products will fit within the 50% height, so we want to make this modal bottom sheet scrollable. Within the container, I'm going to create a child which is going to be a list view builder, and the item builder is going to return as an order product, right? So just like what we had over here, so we are going to return an order product, and we have to pass in the order and the product. This time around, the product is going to come from the product we have on the order. So final product is equal to order dot product and then index. Also, we have to pass in the item count for this list view builder. So item count is order.products.length. And now when we tap on view all, this will give us all the products we have over here, right? Let's apply some padding to our list view. So padding and then 14. So when we close and we open again, we should see this for all our products, right? Now that is going to be it for our order page. So when we go to the pick and realize that we have just 2 items over here, and we can view all because there are still more than one according to our logic, right? So we have shipping, we can still view all. Now when we tap on any of these products, we want to go to the product details page. So back in the order product, I'm going to wrap this row in a gesture detector. And on top, we want to navigate to the order details page. So in the on top, we are going to navigate to the order details page, right? Now let's add a property to the gesture detector called behavior, and this is going to be hit test behavior.opaque. So what this will do is, imagine if we don't have this behavior on it, right? When I tap on any part of this widget which doesn't have a widget directly under it, so if I tap anywhere like here, the on tap is not going to fire, right? So unless we tap on an actual widget, but if we set the behavior to hit test behavior.opaque, anywhere that we tap on this row is going to work, right? So that's going to be it. Now let's create our order details page. So order details page, and it's going to be a stateful widget. Right, so from the order product, when we tap on a product, we want to go to the details of the whole order, and we are going to require this order, like this. So on top, and we are going to return an order details page and then pass in the order. So that is why we needed the order here, right? So just like this, and now we tap on any of these products, this should take us to the order details page. So we go to order details page, as we can see, it's just a placeholder. So let's first put a scaffold here with an up bar, and then within the up bar we can add the title, which is going to be a text that says order details, right? Just like this. Now we are going to continue with the order details page in the next video, right? So if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.